Vijay Mallya has been held in a contempt of court. Supreme Court has also asked Mallya to appear before the court on July 10th. A contempt petition has been moved by the consortium of Indian banks that Vijay Mallya has received $40 million from Digeo and transferred this money to his children's account. The banks had argued that Mallya owns their money and this money should have been used to pay back some of the 90,000 crore debt. Centre has also informed the court that Mallya was misleading the court. Well, interesting details there, and the big question really is, will Vijay Mallya finally get back to the country because of this verdict? We'll be waiting out for those details. We'll try and see if we can get Siddharth Pandey now for more details from the court on this really. Siddharth Pandey. Okay, we have Siddharth Pandey now.
Well, that's right. In fact, just a short while ago, the Supreme Court has held Dr. Vijay Mallya in contempt of court. This is because of a petition that was moved by the consortium of Indian banks which are owed 9,000 crore rupees by Dr. Vijay Mallya and his Kingfisher Group. The banks say that Dr. Mallya, in fact, received a payment of $40 million from Diageo, that's money he should have used to pay off the debts, but instead that money was funneled to his family members' bank accounts, and that's the petition they had moved before the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, agreeing with the banks, and has issued a contempt against him. It's held him guilty of contempt and has also ordered Dr. Vijay Mallya to appear before the court on the 10th of July. Now, of course, if he does not appear before the court, then he does face a jail term that may extend up to 6 months or a fine of 2,000 rupees or both. He could, of course, come and apologize to the court, in which case the court can take a lenient view. But, of course, that's the deadline now which has been set by the Supreme Court, that he has to appear on the 10th of July, failing which, of course, he risks the penalties of contempt of court.
Well, Siddharth, the big question really, will this bring back Vijay Mallya in the country, and how significant is this judgment really for this entire case?
Well, significant indeed, because as we all know, the government of India has already started through the government of United Kingdom the extradition process. It's a request they made to the UK government, and they of course forwarded that to the courts, the district court. Dr. Vijay Mallya was arrested and then released on bail, and of course that extradition process in the courts in the UK. But the courts in the UK take a liberal view usually when they decide on extradition requests from other nations. So in fact that's a process which can extend for up to a year to 2 years, and there's no guarantee that the court essentially will extradite Dr. Mallya or not. This, of course, today's order by the Supreme Court, of course, on a parallel track, but that's now the order from the top court of India, and it carries with it the risks of defying the top court. The top court has ordered that Dr. Vijay Mallya presents himself before the Supreme Court on the 10th of July, and as I said, failing which there are penalties. He could be in fact ordered in jail for up to 6 months and asked to pay a fine or both. Of course, if he does turn up by the time the courts asked him to, he could even apologize and the court can take a lenient view. So this has definitely reduced that time frame and the uncertainty, if you will. Whether or not, of course, Dr. Mallya now agrees to what the court wants him to do remains to be seen. But the order now from the Supreme Court, a big shot in the arm for the Indian government, which has been now trying to get Dr. Vijay Mallya to come back essentially and face the law in India.